Okay. Welcome to the Institute of Funeral Service. A corrupted link, and then all of this rain we're having is really bad. The ceremony, I want to introduce the on-campus faculty and staff, as well as our distinguished guest. First, start up here at the front. Will be formally introduced in a few minutes. Next to him is our clinical coordinator, Hawthorne, who's going to give invocation. Next, our director of registration and student records, Tammy Leonard. And our director of curriculum development and assessment, Mullins. And in the audience, so to speak, the rest of the staff. Okay, off to the right-hand side here, my right-hand side, we have our director, Olga Ratana. Our other admissions advisors, Demi Stewart, Elijah Briggs. Our distance learning coordinator, Dr. Michelle Davis. Our accounting clerk, Lindsay Brown. Financial aid advisors, Taylor Alexander and LaSonia Bryant. And our instructors, Aaron Wilson, Taylor Murphy. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Hawthorne to come forward and give our invitation.
Supporters who know the path we'll all take. We guide families through loss with the choices they make. We provide an emotional touch. We help celebrate a life that still means much. We serve those who have left, comforting those left behind. To be understanding, compassionate, and also kind. We arrange a good judgment that helps start the journey. We bring comfort and confidence. Our families need more. We understand it's all right to shed tears, have regrets, and also sorrow. We provide a harbor of calm, offering, and even hope for tomorrow. We know that loving and losing is all part of living. We ensure a gathering takes place so others can share in the giving. But those who remain We encourage good memories with tribute, tradition, and even a song. We give strength and support to the families we serve. We work hard to provide the dignity they deserve. We are caregivers for life who also care for the dead. We share with the living where our life's has led. Yes, we are caregivers for life.
Thank you, Mr. Hawthorne. To have with us today our graduation speaker, Mr. Elwin Gene Allen. Raised in rural West Texas, Gene graduated from Plains High School. With most of his time spent in management and administration, Gene made a drastic career change. He enrolled in and successfully graduated from Dallas Institute of Funeral Service with a degree in mortuary science. Gene became director and embalmer in the state of Texas after successfully negotiating the exams of the International Conference of Funeral Service Examining Boards, and is licensed in the state of New Mexico as well. Less than 2 years after graduating from Dallas Institute, Gene purchased Kerrville Funeral Home, where his time in independent ownership and in the community became reality. Over the years, Kimball Funeral Home in Junction, Texas was purchased, and Crest Ridge Funeral Home in Levelland, Texas was built. Gene has spent most of his adult life in service to others, having served on numerous boards, and community service continues to be a high priority for him. He has served and currently serves many organizations and on some of the funeral service related include Texas Governor appointed Commissioner of the Texas Funeral Service Commission 2009 to 2015, serving as the presiding officer from 2012 to 2015. President of the Hill Country Funeral Directors Association from 2003-2004, and again from 2018 to 2019. Membership in the Resource Committee, Professional Development Committee, and Pursuit of Excellence Committee, all for the National Funeral Directors Association between 2005 and 2016. For the Texas Funeral Directors Association for 2007 to 2009, and he the Texas Funeral Directors Association South Central Region from 2005 to 2009. He served as chair of the TFDA Legislative 2015-2017, TFDA Secretary Treasurer for 2017-18, President-elect for 18-19, and currently serves as President of TFDA. Gene is also a member of the Funeral Ethics Association, the American Society of Embalmers, and the Cremation Association of North America, and has served as a member of the Sciences Exam Committee of the International Conference of Funeral Service Examining Boards from 2000. In the fall of 2004, Gene completed the requirements for certification in the Academy of Professional Funeral Service Practice to become a certified funeral service practitioner, and completed the coursework offered by the National Funeral Directors Association to become a certified pre-planning consultant. Now, there's a couple pages of non-funeral service related items as well, as a few more funeral service related, but I've already used up all of them. So I digress. Despite all these activities Gene does, is a Director of Aftercare and Grief Recovery for Kerrville, Kimball. They have 4 children and 4 grandchildren, family at a time. With the same respect. Please join me in welcoming Speaker Mr. Gene Allen, who will give our commencement address, Changing Time.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin, for that kind introduction. I only wish that my wife could have been here to words. know you as are excited, you're anxious, you're ready to go home. So I trust that you won't go to sleep as a guest. Mr. Cavender, school administration and staff, it's not only a privilege, but it's also a great honor to be invited to participate. A historic day for you that will change life forever. With being a Dallas Institute alumnus, spring 2000, and by the way, that was back during the dark ages of cavemen, if you will. Many things have changed. For instance, Mr. Cavender was a mere instructor at this great institution, and now look at him, he's the top dog. In 2012, while serving the Texas Funeral Service Commission, and to be invited to participate a second time is beyond special for me. Or maybe they just couldn't find anyone else that was available. Being a funeral professional is truly a calling. And if that calling isn't in your heart or looked upon in a very similar manner as your local ministry, we must act as such and have it in our all. I personally am one who loves to serve others in their times of need, which I really hope will be your mission as well. I've been a licensed funeral director in Balmer for almost 20 years. After I had the welcomed opportunity to change careers and do what I wanted to do since I was a small, I've given it everything I could be for our profession and to the family that we all serve. I hope you will all take note that I'm referring to our chosen career as a profession, not as an industry. I didn't come to Dallas or even a welder. I came here to be educated in a professional manner, which I truly feel happened. I'm on a mission to change the mind that call it an industry, which is more of changing times. Back in 1999, when I entered, which included a most lengthy orientation, the president of the college at the time, Mr. Jim Shoemake, to us rather frankly, as I'm sure you all received, Mr. Cavender, he would not walk across the stage for graduation and receive a diploma. That was motivating to me. Those words were startling numbers for this West Texas. But you know what? Times are changing. Quality graduates like yourselves are making the difference in making those statistics have a totally different. Funeral service has changed tremendously over the past several generations. Just a few decades ago, the majority of funeral directors were male. Women are a large portion of what makes our profession today, and they have impacted in a most positive. Technology, ranging from websites that homes rarely had before, to technology that goes into planning a service like video tributes, live streaming services, things. These changes rethink our everyday goals and families. Then we came to the dreaded COVID-19. Changed all of our lives in so many ways. We don't have time today to address them all. You are a perfect example of the necessary change that came about by the way this graduation exercise had to be out. Many things happened when the pandemic made its presence known. Government restrictions came into play, and services, be it chapel service, church service, or grave service, they all had major impacts. More and more funeral homes had to embrace that technology, whether they wanted to or not. A staff member once told me, as a funeral director, that he was a funeral director. He's not a computer nerd. My response to him was, you better take a crash course in nerdism then, because we're gonna meet the demands of what our families that we serve deserve. There's a philosophy that the funeral profession is made up of much more stable folks than any other profession that we could all achieve. With this in mind, I've heard most of my life that there are two things that man or woman pay taxes and die. So that tells me that CPAs and funeral directors are in a pretty safe place in life. But with an increase in numbers, there also comes an increase in those that are not always honest. Just like any other profession, there are good apples and bad apples. I'm going to be emphatic about emphasizing to you before you take the funeral service oath here in a bit that you will always be asked to uphold a license that is a bestowal of trust. If you violate that oath and you violate that bestowal of trust, you're tarnishing the reputation of each and every funeral professional in existence in one way or another. Just remember, once you stop chasing the wrong things, the right things will catch you. You must always do the right thing. If one will do the right thing, one will always feel good at the end of the day, but more importantly, so will the families that you have served. Gandhi once said, it is the action, not the action, that's important. And he even went on to say, you have to do the right thing. It may not be in your power, and it may not be in your time that there will be any fruit realized. But that doesn't mean you stop doing the right thing. You may never know what the results are that came from your actions, but if you do nothing, there will be absolutely no. In closing, I want to share a couple of short, thought-provoking things for you to take home with you. And I have no knowledge of who wrote either one of them. The only bird that will peck at an eagle is the crow. Imagine in your mind an eagle. An eagle can grow to 40 inches in body. And of almost 8 feet. And then imagine a crow, how small it can be. The crow sits on the eagle's back and bites at his neck. The eagle doesn't respond. He doesn't fight. He doesn't waste time on that pesky bird. It simply opens its wings and begins to rise higher in the sky. The higher the flight, the harder it is for the crow to breathe. Stop wasting your time with crows in your life. Just take them to your heights and they will fade. Also, someone once said, fear does not stop death. It stops life. And worrying does not take away tomorrow's trouble. It takes away today's peace. Thank you for allowing me to be a small part of your special day. I bid you congratulations. Stay focused and surround yourself with good people. May God richly bless each of you, and may God bless our great nation, the United States of America.
Step back away, please. In recognition of distinguished of mortuary education, the recommendation of the faculty is hereby awarded this distinguished service certificate. This time, our awards. Okay, they are these special recognition awards. Because of the unfortunate circumstances due to COVID-19, our spring commencement had to be canceled. Today, we recognize all those students who have completed the program study at the conclusion of every quarter. There are groups of the requirements, and therefore we will be presenting multiple awards. In December and June, distance learning students are eligible, and in March and September, there are from both the distance learning program and the on-campus program. Each of these will have recipients of these awards. The first, announced, is in recognition of outstanding academic ability, application to studies. The following people had the second highest academic honors as salutatorian of their class. For December 2019, Associate of Applied Science Distance Learning, Kimberly Suzanne Lemberger. For March, Science on Campus, Nashayla Shalon Russell. For June of 2020, the Associate of Applied Science Distance Learning, Samuel C. Steiner. For September 2020, Applied Science Distance Learning, Jasmine Latrice Jones. And for the Associate of Applied Science on Campus, Dominic Blake Holsom. So give those a little round of applause. The next award is in recognition of outstanding academic application studies, the highest academic honors of the class. The recipients of this award not only receive the recognition that is, but also our fellow Pierce Mortuary College, Mid-America College of Funerals, is granting a scholarship in the amount of $2,500 for them to continue their education by enrolling into the Bachelor of Science in Funeral Service Management program. Those recognized valedictorian of their class are, for 2019, Associate of Applied Science Distance Learning, the Associate of Applied Science on Campus, Danae Samantha Rotz. For June 2020, Associate of Science G. Mill. And for September, Associate of Applied Science Distance Learning, Joshua Michael Austin. And Associate of Applied Science on Campus, Nicole Danielle Hadley. The next award is really for highest overall honors, not considering academics necessarily. The recipient of this award will receive a $1,000 scholarship for their education at Mid-America College Funeral Service. This award, named the Bill Pierce Award, goes to a person who was selected by their classmates for this honor as the most representative of funeral service on the basis of personal dedication, a special all-around attitude which would qualify this recipient as and I would like to Mr. Brian Mullins, as a former recipient of this award, to step forward and say a few words.
Mr. Bill Pierce was born in Evansville, Illinois in 1909. In the 1930s, he graduated from the St. Louis School of Marketing in St. Louis, Missouri. He began working then with the Royal Bond Chemical Company. In that decade, he and his wife Gladys moved to this region and began producing their own embalming chemicals. As he began producing the chemicals, he personally would put them in his vehicle and deliver them. As the individual enterprise grew, he purchased Armstrong Chemical, Naturo Chemical Company, and Eureka Company. Finally, purchasing the he had started with 60 years prior, the Royal Bond Chemicals in 1990. He was a great believer in education, managed several mortuary schools during his tenure. Dallas Institute of Funeral Service, along with her sister schools in Mid-America, in Jeffersonville, Indiana, Captain Jones in Atlanta, are still shining symbols of his dedication to the development of qualified individuals for funeral service. Favorite quote: lots of friends and plenty of luck, and the good fortune to be born in America. That's all the career I need. At this time, Mr. Cavender will let us know which
So, the recipients of this award are as follows. For December 2019, the Applied Science Distance Learning program is Karen Renee Keefe. For March of 2020, Associate Applied Science Distance Learning, Derek Jerome Bailey. For the Associate Applied Science on campus, there actually was a tie vote. Those two individuals are Jody Lynn Gerke and Sky Lynn K. Jones. For June of 2020, Associate Applied Science Distance Learning, Ryan G. Wilson. And for Associate of Applied Science Distance Learning, Joshua Michael Austin. And for the on-campus Associate of Applied Science, another tie this time, Eli Gregory Nordstrom. Congratulations to these. At this time, there will be a very short, maybe 1 or 2 minute pause in the ceremony. Allow to line to receive their recognition for graduation. Those guests viewing via live streaming, please stay tuned. The ceremony will resume in a very short amount of time.
Allow me again to greet everyone with a good morning. The candidates for graduation have been on a long journey that has brought us to this day. Innumerable amount of time and much blood, sweat, and a fair amount of tears. We saw that they have completed this particular journey and now began another one. As the graduates are announced today, we will recognize several honors. For some, academic achievement, maintaining an overall 3.5 with no course grade less than a C. The most difficult awards to obtain will also be announced. It will be that of the award for Exhibit of Pi Sigma Eta Fraternity, the National Funeral Service Honors Fraternity. As the graduates walk across, that those receiving the Academic Achievement Award will wear gold cords, are members of the Women in Black. And last but certainly not least, those red, white, and blue cords are veterans of the United States Armed Forces. And so, on behalf of the faculty, staff, and boards, candidates will be separated by groups and by time of graduation, and then by their type of program. Because of the length of time since completing, several will not physically be present, but may wish to join us online. Will still. The first to be announced are those who completed the program in December 2019. Those who completed the Associates of Applied Science degree in Funeral Service by Distance Learning: Samantha Jo Blake, Stephanie Michelle Blankenship, Karen Renee Keefe, Academic Achievement, Lillian Daisy Chlorine Canate, Stephanie Jennifer Lang, Amber Renee Ledette, Kimberly Suzanne Limgruber. Program by Distance Learning: Nathaniel Tolbert II. The next to be announced who completed the program in March of 2020. The Associates of Applied Science degree in Funeral Service by Distance Learning: Jerome Bailey, Jaquay Buckner, Darian Bird, Amanda Brooke Inslee, Hollis Henry Griffin Jr., Valerie Cheyenne Harmon, Alexis Hatfield, Ronald Ray Carl Elm, Justin Lee, Joshua Keith Lynn, Academic Achievement, Amanda Ruth LaPaulo, Jason Watt, Bethany Ann Meadow, DeJuan Moore, Adrian Felice Stevens, Academic Achievement, Hunter Timothy Stiles, Associate Applied Science and Funeral Service on campus, Chandler Brooke Bradford Blaisdell, Destiny Cheyenne Dills, Croasis of the fraternity, Maria Araceli Gonzalez, Jody Lynn, Ashley Nicole, Skylyn K. Jones, Senior Artist of the fraternity, exemplary attendance, Lizzie Taylor McElroy, Scribe of the fraternity, exemplary attendance. Shannon Diane Meeks, Danae Samantha Ross, Junior Artist of the fraternity, achievement, Shaylon, exemplary attendance. William Valles. Tyler of the fraternity. Those who completed the Director's Program by distance learning: Joseph Ray Goodloe, Jr., Kylie Renee Hefner, the Funeral Director's Program: Wayne Bell, Keston Elias Wilson, exemplary. The next to be announced are those who completed the June of 2020. The Associates of Applied Science degree in Funeral Service by distance learning: Jamal DeWan Boyd, Mary Ruth Garcia, Nicole Greer, T. Charles Jr., Byron Keith McEwen, Ryan G. Mills, academic achievement: Boyd David Ocon, Gina Lee Paulson, Luz del Carmen Perales, Richard Anthony, academic achievement: Samuel C. Stock, academic achievement: Kennedy Ray Syfax, Dawn Valamont, academic achievement. Those who completed the Funeral Director Program online: Judith Susan Conway, and finally, the next to be announced are those who completed the program in September of 2020. The Associate of Applied Science degree in Funeral Service by learning: Kobe Michael Buck, William E. Angela, academic achievement: Dominic Blake Olson, Latrice, academic achievement: Ashley Lynn Little, Teresa A. Rader, Lauren Kate Rogers. Here. Jacqueline Villalobos. Diane Nicole Winters. The Associate of Applied Science degree in funeral service on campus. Danielle. Larisha Keandra Davis, Senior Artist of the Fraternity. Catherine Gaines.
2 degrees, period.
Nicole Danielle Patton, Master Artist of the Fraternity, Academic Achievement. Lance Michael Hicks. Natalie Ann McClure. Eli Gregory Nordstrom, exemplary. Brenda Jaylene Adorno. David Sexton. Isabel Christina Wade, exemplary attendance. Victoria Rose York. Those who completed the Funeral Directors Program by discerning. Mary Elizabeth Bergeron. Chanterial Nicole French. Destiny Laquelle Helm. Stephanie Yvonne Wayne. Directors Program Jabari Antoine.
At this time, we're going to be moving next door to the room where the students are to, for them to receive the funeral service oath.
The class of 2020 will always be recognized as a special group of students who persevered through so much. I hope that the unique circumstances that you guys have gone through give you resilience and make you the world a better place. If you will please stand and repeat after me. I do. me cause to yield to carelessness. Or to violate my obligation to society. Or to the dignity of my profession. That I shall abstain from every voluntary act of misconduct and corruption. That I shall obey the civil laws. That I shall not divulge professional confidences. And that I shall be faithful to those who have placed their trust in me. While I continue to keep this oath unviolated. May it be granted to me to enjoy honor in my life and in my profession. I won't get emotional this time. Did you have,
Is it? Yeah. That's okay. Facebook is okay. Let's see your families and so forth. Okay, we're good to go. You're live.
All right. The class of 2020 will always be recognized as a special group of students who persevered through so much. And I hope that these unique circumstances that you have faced will give you resiliency and want you to make the world a better place. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly state that which I hold most sacred, that I shall be loyal to the profession, and just and generous to its members. I shall lead my life and practice my art. In uprightness and honor. That I shall not let the constant relationship and familiarity with death give me cause to yield to carelessness. Or to violate my obligation to society. Or my profession. That I shall abstain from every voluntary conduct and those who have placed their trust in me. While I continue to keep this oath unviolated. It be granted to me to enjoy honor in my life and in my profession. And may I be respected for all time. Graduates, you may now turn your tassels.
Go ahead, please remain standing. I want to take this moment to thank all of you who participated in the additional ceremony for the benediction, which will include.
So what we're doing OBS? So OBS wasn't. You're not getting audio of that. You
The God who cares and loves us. I would like you to, as their own narrative of personal crises and challenges they have overcome, added to their personal by the issues as a
Hold on a second. Yes.
These graduates have lived through a unique time. The hope that you make things work together for your good is now stronger than ever. Commit graduates to assist you in that purpose by working with anyone at any time in their moment of sorrow. Be in a physical strain in a time of emotional stress without bias, without prejudice. May you guide and assist them. May you give them comfort, grace, and mercy, that they can give comfort, grace to those they serve. On behalf of these graduates, may I say thank you for what they have achieved and request your hand on their personal lives and careers. And this is not with any irreverence or lack of respect. You end a prayer with a formal position.